The coastline of Sidmouth is defined by its shingle. These heavy stones clatter and shift under the constant battering of harsh winds and salt water. It is a hostile environment. Yet somehow, resilient green shoots manage to push their way directly through the rocks. For a long time, the public perception of these plants was strictly negative. People saw them as ugly eyesores. The general consensus was that a pristine beach should consist only of flat, clean stones, and that any vegetation growing through the shingle looked messy and unkempt. This public distaste translated into a direct municipal response. The local council treated these green shoots exactly like weeds growing through a driveway crack. They routinely dispatched teams to spray the beach with weed killer, ensuring the stones remained barren. There was a major biological misunderstanding driving this eradication. These plants are actually nationally scarce, highly specialized species known as halophytes. We are talking about unique coastal flora, like sea beet, rock samphire, tree mallow, and yellow horned poppy. The defining trait of a halophyte is an extreme biological tolerance for salt. The harsh marine salinity that dehydrates and kills standard vegetation is exactly what these plants evolved to withstand. They thrive precisely where nothing else can. An animated cross-section reveals their hidden structural value. Halophyte roots expand deep below the surface, acting as living anchors that bind the loose rocks into a solid mass. When incoming waves hit, the reinforced shingle safely absorbs the impact, holding the beach in place. By destroying these plants, the town dismantled the very mechanism keeping the beach from washing away, eroding their own physical defense against the sea. The correction to this practice started in 2013. The Vision Group for Sidmouth, alongside local volunteers, carved out a designated section of the shingle directly in front of the Belmont Hotel. They established the Sidmouth Beach Garden as a protected sanctuary. A sanctuary on a shifting beach cannot maintain itself. The local community had to build an interconnected human ecosystem of volunteers to mirror the needs of the coastal ecosystem. That effort starts with intense physical labor. A dedicated branch of Sidmouth in Bloom, known locally as the Sidcombers, took on the responsibility for the site's manual upkeep. Their primary adversary is the weather. When brutal winter storms hit the coast, the water violently pushes massive amounts of shingle up the beach. The loose rocks slide and cascade, threatening to bury the delicate plants entirely. The Sidcombers maintain a two-pronged defense. They routinely dig into the heavy rocks by hand to unearth smothered plants after storms, and they organize regular beach cleans, starting from the west end of the promenade to pull marine plastic out of the sanctuary. The violent natural mechanics of the shoreline would quickly bury and erase this fragile space. The physical intervention of these volunteers is the literal barrier keeping the garden above the stones. The physical labor is supported by specialized scientific oversight provided by the Sid Valley Biodiversity Group. This group implements a highly specific maintenance schedule. For instance, they orchestrated structured seasonal tidy-ups in late 2024 and early 2026. These specific interventions clear out dead growth and prepare the halophytes for the crucial spring growing season. The third pillar of this human ecosystem is the Devon Plant Heritage Group. They supply the expert horticultural backing required to expand the garden. The Heritage Group addresses a specific historical deficit. Years of eradication and harsh conditions had completely wiped out certain specialist coastal species from the Sidmouth shoreline. This map illustrates their solution. The group sources halophyte seeds from across the region, gathering seeds from other endangered sites throughout the Southwest, and physically reintroducing those lost species back into the Sidmouth shingle. These scientific and horticultural efforts allow the community to actively reverse decades of ecological loss, reestablishing a diversity that had vanished from the shore. Today, the beach garden operates with a secondary objective. It is designed to physically demonstrate the value of these plants and shift public perception away from the old eyesore myth. In 2024, the Sid Valley Biodiversity Group installed a permanent interpretation board at the site. It acts as an educational tool, detailing the national scarcity of the halophytes and explaining exactly how their roots stabilize the coast. The most clear metric of success is the turnaround of the East Devon District Council. The same municipal body that once dispatched teams to apply weed killer is now an active partner in the conservation project. The centerpiece of this municipal partnership is highly visible. Council workers physically assisted the volunteers in digging an old, heavy wooden boat directly into the shingle. It sits there today, anchoring the sanctuary. The Sidmouth Beach Garden changed the town's relationship with its shingle. The plants are no longer treated as seasonal weeds to be poisoned, but as essential anchors to be maintained. True, lasting ecological restoration requires putting the right seeds in the ground. But it only survives if a community is willing to uproot its old, destructive mindsets first.